Coach, maybe just to start, I saw you had Chuck Stressman talk to the team over the weekend. I know he's coming back from an illness. How's he doing?
He's doing well. He's in great spirits, and he's got an unbelievable family. His youngest daughter is a plebe here, so she was doing the march back. So he and his wife Stacy, his two older children who are both graduates, they all came back for the march back, and really neat to see all of them together. He did a great job speaking to our team.
Coach, I guess I'll start with camp's kind of been coming and going pretty fast now. Scrimmage on Saturday. How do you think the team's done to this point? Kind of wrapping things up as a unit before you get ready for Duke.
Oh, we still got a couple of weeks to go, and I'm glad that we do. We've got plenty of little details that still need to be worked on and worked over 100 times over, but I think our guys have worked hard, and the enthusiasm's been good. The competition's been good. And we've had a chance to go our I guess our core group on the defense against the core group of the offense. We've got a really good freshman class. I'm excited about watching those guys grow and develop. But we're still not there yet. And like I said, we got a couple more weeks to get there.
Is there anything you're focusing on for Saturday that's gonna kind of clear some things up for you? As you know, obviously you have another week before the game, but is there anything you're gonna try to clear up on Saturday? Anything you're looking for in particular?
I think most of our guys have established where they are in the lineup at this point. I don't know that we've got a lot of question marks there. We've had some guys, just some subtle changes in positions, and I'm really anxious to see those guys at those positions and see where they might factor in, and then really just to this point, what we do in terms of execution of assignments. We're gonna scout it, so it's not none of this scrimmage on Saturday is going to be our starting offense and our starting defense or our twos and twos. It's all going to be scouted, which will be a challenge for the scouts. They've only been doing it this week, and so there's likely to be some mishaps and those kinds of things, which those are a little frustrating because I'm not sure we're getting better when those happen. But it will be good for us to at least have our defense and offense preparing for a game-like situation against Duke.
To build off that, so obviously a lot of the older guys aren't going to play, well, most of them, or at least the veterans. Are you looking for them to be supportive, lead on the sideline, kind of lead by example, even though they're not in the game? I mean,
oh no, we're going to play our starting offense against our scout defense as if it were a game, and so we'll have the sidelines split, where we've got the scouts on one sideline and the I guess a little bit larger group than our travel squad on the other sideline, and try to play a game, and I think that gives us the chance to have those game-like situations. And then at the end of the scrimmage, we'll do like we did last Saturday and have all of our rookies go in there, and they'll run our offense against our defense, which would be good work for them too.
Can you talk a little bit about the senior class and, talking to the underclassmen, mostly junior class, about what they've been, we talked about what they had to endure their freshman year, and now they have two winning seasons, and now entering their final year with a lot to accomplish still. Can you talk about what they've meant to the program so far?
They're just an extension of what started a couple of years ago, and that senior class, the determination they had to get us over the hump and get us to a bowl game and a winning record and beating our arch rival. So it really started there, and last year's group of seniors and last year's team continued that and improved the record. And I think the challenge for these guys is just to improve as a team, get better. And the records are a result of what we do in terms of preparation, our effort, just the execution of the plan every week, and that's where I challenge our guys, is to do that. Whatever the result is, that's a byproduct of what we've done in terms of executing the plan. So we really coach our guys to follow what we're asking them to do, what they know and believe in as a plan for victory, and to work hard and play hard and take great pride in the little things. And I think we'll get the results we want if we do that. So I'm excited for the senior class and the fact that they do have a chance to lead their team to a third straight bowl game. The opportunity's out there, but it's going to take a tremendous effort for us to do that. But it would be the first time in school history, and I know it would be a great source of pride for that class.
I guess I can ask you then about, you had 10 wins last year. We talked about what's next for this program. Has the word undefeated been mentioned a lot in this camp, or?
Once a week. That's all we want to do is go undefeated once a week. And that's it's silly to talk about that. I mean, some of those games are months away. We got one game we're concerned with. That's the Duke game, and we're going to try to do our very best to win that game. And then when that one's done, we'll get prepared and try to win the next one. And that's all we can do at this point. And I think our guys realize and are bought into that philosophy. And it's how we've been able to have some success the last 2 years, is not looking a long way into the future. It's really concentrating on the next game.
Coach, maybe just maybe a day to ask about how you put the schedule together, the teams you're going to play this year, and then teams that you may see in the future. I know you'll try to play one top 20 team a year, but what goes into formulating the opponents that you play as an independent?
I don't get real involved with the schedule. Our athletic administration fortunately handles that. That's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're not in a conference, as we aren't. When a team's in a conference, the conference sets at least 8 games of that schedule, and some conferences 9, and then it's just a matter of finding 3 or 4 of the games. Here we've got to find basically 10 games. The other 2 academies are set for those weekends, but the rest of them we've got to go search, and that's a great job by Boo and Bob Beretta, who kind of really lead that effort, and so the schedule is not set in stone, but we've got a pretty good idea 6-7 years out sometimes, just kind of who's going to be showing up on the schedule. So it's not my desire to play anybody as a top 20 team. I mean, I'd like to play some teams that are a lot more like us. We don't have many on our schedule that are like us. Two other academies, but I mean, they all give scholarships. They're all talented football teams, and it's every week is a challenge for us. You just look at the last 2 seasons, and winning 18 games, but weren't very many of those were easy, and we had to battle and come from behind a lot of those victories. And 3 years ago we lost a bunch of games by a touchdown or less. Well, the last couple of years we've won a bunch of games by a touchdown or less. So just the margin for error for us is very small. And those talented teams like Oklahoma that you call a top 20 team, I mean, holy smokes, they're so much better than us, Ken. They're so much more talented. And
5th rate in the country.
Yeah, that's right. Well, what was Ohio State last year?
About the
3rd,
same.
4th. Those guys are good. And if you recall, last year after the Ohio State game, we had 7 players out the next week against Tulane, and so we looked like a different football team the next week because we had some guys injured. And I'm not saying we're going to get beat up in every one of those games, but they're a pretty physical team, that Ohio State team, and I'm certain Oklahoma's going
Same
to be
thing
as well.
happening at Stanford a bunch of years ago here when they came in.
Do you, as an independent, do you think that's where this program will be for the near future? Are you a fan of joining a conference, or do you think the team can continue its path as an independent?
I hope we can stay independent. We're a national university, and I like the idea of playing a national schedule and being able to travel and play different teams from year to year. We give our academy and our football program exposure to cities and states and prospects and fans around the country. So I think it's a real positive for us, and hopefully we're going to be able to manage to do that.
I guess when there was the playoff talk, there was independent teams are going to have trouble surviving, but you guys have are a success story as an independent. So, I mean, are you like the kind of antithesis of that pretty much, you know, because they said, oh, you know, you're going to a playoff system, you know, how are independents going to survive without the conference affiliation?
The playoff system as it is doesn't include anybody outside of the Power 5 conferences anyway. And there's, I mean, Central Florida went undefeated last year. You can't do better than that. And they didn't get in the playoffs. So I don't anticipate that if it remains a 14 playoff, that anybody outside the Power 5 leagues are going to get in. So that's not something I even consider or worry about. And what I'm hoping we can do is continue to have sustained success here. And that's not something that really even needs to be discussed, a playoff and getting into those things. That's for other people to consider. What we need to consider is trying to go 1-0 every week, beating our academy rivals so we can win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. That's the championship we're after. And if the playoff system ever expands, my feeling is that if you win enough games and they think you're good enough, they're going to invite you into the playoff. And if they don't, they won't.
Coach, maybe just ask you about the trip to the White House and the Pentagon in May. Did that kind of help establish a standard for your younger players that they want to go back there, they want to receive that invitation again next year?
I hope so. I think hoisting that trophy in the snow in December was the feeling that they want to have. That's when it's raw and fresh and really fun, and just it's an honor to be invited to go to the White House to receive the trophy. But that's months after it happened, and frankly, I wish it could happen the next day so we could put it behind us, because I'm tired of talking about it, and what we did last year has nothing to do with this team. This team's going to have to earn every victory on their own. If we're going to get that trophy back and take another trip, it's going to be because of what we do this year, not because of what was done last year.
We're going to do some breakout sessions.